We are live on YouTube. Try to go live on Facebook also.
You're so good.
Facebook has given us troubles for a while. We'll see what it's going to do today. And we are live on Facebook too.
Nice.
All right, very good.
Okay.
So we are, what day are we, Jody?
It is
Day.
Tuesday, June 9th.
June 9th, Tuesday. A little bit cloudy. We had a lot of rain lately, but we're dry right now.
Yes.
So we have another exciting podcast here this afternoon. Some of you may recognize Jody. She's been here before. We went through her cancer journey then, and that journey actually brought her into the natural medicine world because she decided to go that route and basically beat cancer that way. And since then, she's been a health coach for many, many years, but also really got involved and passionate about helping people lose those extra pounds. But unlike the popular diets and weight loss programs that are out there that speed up metabolism and get some short-term results, and therefore are called yo-yo diets because people regain the weight afterwards, Jody obviously decided to really help people with their health. And when you help people with their health, the pounds come up automatically. So Jody and I really came up with a great weight loss program. I have used it in many clinics that I owned, and we had great success with those physician-supervised programs that basically are healthy ways to lose weight and have lasting results. And so Jody's going to talk a little bit about our program today, and we're going to really try to clear up the difference between a healthy weight loss program and those popular diets that are out there, and what the key components of a healthy program are. So welcome again, Jody.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back, Dr. Mike. It's nice to be here.
So do you want to add something to your introduction and how you actually got into weight loss specifically?
Dr. Mike, I just fell into weight loss. Well, you think about it, I'm 66. When I was in elementary school, 1 out of 10 kids was overweight. Now it's 8.5. 8.5. It's childhood obesity is so rampant. Actually, I wrote a treatment that's been published 4 times on childhood obesity. Who would think? It's systemic inflammation. We're going to talk about that. I know that right now, my grandchildren, their life expectancy is less than mine. That's got to change. I think obesity to the next age is going to be the biggest, think about it, coronavirus. We've just gotten off of this. I'm going to rephrase this a little differently. Coronavirus and age. Those were 2 things that we know about, right? Do we know about coronavirus and obesity? That was the second comorbidity with coronavirus deaths.
Sure.
Because it just makes sense, doesn't it? So I really believe more than anything else that weight loss is the key, because when you can keep your pounds down, what do your insurance companies do? They go ahead, they give you lower rates. And yes, I have been privileged and honored to bring to the table over 500,000 pounds weight loss.
500,000 pounds
That's
lost.
500,000. Do you know how many elephants that is? It's 38.
Oh, you did your calculations,
38 elephants worth of people.
You created space.
Yes. I created space, and a space for elephants, space for people to get through doors, space for people to have longevity. Because when you have energy, you have more energy when you have your weight management correct. Then you have vitality. Then comes longevity.
Yeah. Well, we all know about the comorbidities of, obesity and being overweight, because if you are overweight, you suddenly are a risk factor for any other disease out there. And I want to explain that to the listeners. So before we let Jody go into the program a little bit more specifically and the key points of a healthy program, I really want to explain to the viewers today the relationship between, disease and inflammation and also obesity, because obesity, of being overweight, is number one caused by systemic inflammation, but it also perpetuates it. And that's important to understand. So I do it on many podcasts, but it's always important to briefly discuss the cause of all diseases, and that's toxemia. Toxemia literally means toxins in the blood. And there are toxins in the blood all the time because as a result of normal metabolism, right? We have waste products for all the chemical reactions that happen in our body, and we ingest foods and we inhale polluted air, and there's environmental toxins. So we have a normal amount of toxins entering the body, but our body is designed to eliminate those toxins from the blood and the body on a daily basis, so no harm is done. But when we ingest and are exposed to far more toxins than the body possibly can eliminate, we get in a problem. And so at that point, we're accumulating toxins in the blood and the body. And that's exactly what we call toxemia. And this toxemia not only causes free radical damage, that's a topic for another podcast, but it also causes what's now known as systemic inflammation. And even according to conventional medicine, over 80, they already say 90% of all disease, and it is all disease anyways, but they say over 90% of all disease is directly correlated to this systemic inflammation. Now, what is this systemic inflammation? Again, it's these toxins that are floating around, and the body needs to do something about it because they can harm us, right? So first of all, with this systemic inflammation, our immune system needs to start working, and it becomes overburdened pretty quickly. So it's starting producing too many antibodies, and that's where autoimmune diseases come from, because too many antibodies are going to attack the body itself. So that's a source of autoimmune disease. But at the same time, these toxins are floating around. And besides our normal elimination systems, which now are overburdened because there's too many toxins, our body's going to find also ingenious ways to neutralize those toxins. For example, especially obese people, they get what? Lots of cysts. What are cysts? It's basically a means of the body to neutralize toxins and keep them away and keep them away from being harmful to us. Then we have nodules. Again, it's a way of the body to encapsulate harmful substances. And where else does the body store toxins, Jody? Our fat cells. Our fat cells store toxins. So now we have this inflammation going on, right? And these toxins are stored by fat cells. Now, when we talk about obese people, obviously they're people that are not eating healthy, right? They're overeating, and mostly it's man-made synthetic foods, which produces a lot of toxins. Again, those toxins are stored. So the inflammation causes the obesity and overweight, right? Mostly because we're overeating and providing or ingesting too much toxins. But when our fat cells, also called adipocytes, when they increase in number and size, okay, they release a protein, and that protein is called a macrophage. And so the adipocytes and macrophage in our body, they constantly release other proteins in the blood, and those proteins are called cytokines. And cytokines, I'm sure you heard of them, they're pro-inflammatory. They cause inflammation. So obesity is caused by inflammation, but once those fat cells increase in size and number, they release more inflammatory factors and even perpetuate the inflammation. And that's why people that are obese, their risk factor for other diseases increases. And that's because we are causing even more inflammation, and it's a vicious circle. Okay, so that's how you got to understand, obesity, systemic inflammation, immune system. Okay, so that's basically how this works, Jody.
You've got it. I mean, you have to have the foundation underneath there. You have to know why to do the what. I can tell you with the 500,000 pounds of weight loss, Mike, I forgot to mention, we've done that in 8 years.
In just 8 years. Huh?
8 years. When we do this program, if you would like me to go into this, we start with cleansing the colon. You and I both know, do not do this by yourself. Make sure that you contact an alternative healthcare provider. Why do we start with the colon? Because everything goes downstream. You talk about the toxins, it's down there. You have to start with the base chakra. Make sure that that's working correctly on its own. Make sure. Another thing that we do with this program, and I'm loving the fact that this was your idea. He has great ideas, doesn't he? that we do this with getting your blood work, because we want to have your blood work. You want to have a baseline. Then we trick your metabolism. We trick your metabolism because, as you were talking, your metabolism is sluggish because of all the inflammation, because of everything that's going on, and your body is confused. On the Zoom, and I will be doing one on Sunday again, and I do them on demand, but this coming Sunday at 2 p.m., if you're watching this on time, 2 p.m., it will be the 14th. Just private message me on Facebook. I'll get you the information. Go to Dr. Mike's site. He will do the same. But this is the deal. You go ahead and you've got these cells. I saw a picture. They're this big. What have you always taught us, those of us that have been around and been fortunate enough to know you for years, that you have to have the blood clean? How can you have these fat cells in the blood? What's going to happen? It's going to back up eventually to your heart, to something. This system and this whole foods weight loss, permanent weight loss situation, it's easy on your adrenals. How important is that? There's no over exercising, because oftentimes I find with clients that, well, I'm going to exercise it out. You can't exercise your way into a healthy diet. You cannot exercise your way to health. And sure, you and I have had a history of competing at some of the highest levels.
It's not healthy though.
No, not to keep it up at this, like this program, 20 minutes a day. When you do it 20 minutes a day is enough. You're not going to tax your liver. When you tax your liver, guess what? The C-reactive proteins are going crazy now, aren't they? And I want you to get into that as soon as I'm done with this little spiel here. What it actually does as well with your liver, when you go ahead and exercise, your liver will shut down and then you plateau. People always say, well, I dieted for a while and then I shut down. What were you doing for toxins? What were you doing to eliminate those toxins? Were they staying in your blood? Because you're reshaping everything. I also know one thing about this program is that conventional diets don't work. And the reason they don't, and we're going to talk about metabolism in a minute, but I'm going to throw two names out here and I'm going to be real controversial. I'm allowed?
On this show, always.
Okay. Nutrisystem and Jenny Craig.
Okay, sure. Two good examples of popular flawed diets.
Why would I ever eat anything out of a box? My philosophy has always been, you can see it on my website, Health Coach Jody, wheat, milk, and soy make yeast, mold, and fungus.
Isn't that right?
Okay. You're going to have a box that's going to come to your door with ingredients on the label that look that they came out of a chemist lab. And then you're going to get, for somebody that has a little bit of experience, not a double PhD like yourself supervising it, myself being a health coach of over 40 years with a certified health coach, thousands of clients, and an all but dissertation in holistic nutrition, helping you along the way. Does Nutrisystem have that? Does Jenny Craig have that? No. And when you talk to people, it comes back again. And the third thing that people say, well, I'm just going to go ahead and have it lipoed out. Oh, I'm going to go ahead and have
short term,
have a bypass. I have had over 500 clients have come through my practice that have had either a gastric bypass or the sleeve for somewhere's up to $30,000 to get this program done. What's that going to do to toxins in your body?
And high risk. High risk too.
And think about the word diet, Dr. Mike. Diet.
Diet.
It's got dye in it. All right. See, in a conventional diet, there's depravity, there's starvation. And even with the popular Weight Watchers, do you want to really wait for a year to take your weight off, or do you want to do it fast, quick, easy, effective? See, there has to be that part when you deal with a lot of overweight to go into transformation. As a health coach and a life coach, when they said, well, you don't know my story. Oh, yes, I do. So let's do this transformation from the inside, because true lasting weight loss is an inside job.
No, that's correct. And so Jody mentioned, a few of those popular diets, and there's so many out there, but they have common denominators why they fail. And the first one she touched upon is they're all low-calorie diets or very low-calorie diets. What that means is you're taking in less calories than your body needs to even survive on a daily basis. So obviously you're going to burn fat, you're going to speed up metabolism, you're going to lose weight, but it's very unhealthy and it won't last because you need to compromise, you need to starve. And how long are you going to last doing that? Life's not fun anymore, right? There's nothing pleasant about it. And some people last longer than others, but eventually you stop, you go back to regular eating. And because you put your body in a starvation mode, it's gonna, memorize that, and it's gonna pack on the weight pretty fast, preparing itself for another starvation period. So those diets just never work, only short term. And they're very unhealthy. The reason why they're unhealthy, because many times they're all the same. They're all the same. They're low-calorie diets, but they just have a different story and a different packaging. But bottom line is they're all the same. What they try to mix up is, you have to eliminate those foods. You can't eat carbs. You can't eat fats. You can't eat proteins. So they all have a different story around it, but they all end up being low-calorie diets. And when you start to eliminate certain food groups, it's certainly not healthy. The reason why they are unhealthy too is, remember, the inflammation. Okay, yes. So when you are gonna try to speed up your metabolism, which is sluggish, okay, and you're gonna try to remove those fat cells store what? Toxins. So now you're gonna release toxins in the body, and you're already in a state of toxemia. So you're just gonna add to the toxins, you're gonna add to the inflammation, and you're gonna be vulnerable, or even at a higher risk of the other diseases, because you didn't solve the underlying problem, which was the inflammation and the toxins. So, the best way to do this is you need to normalize or reset your metabolism. We'll talk about that a little bit later on how we do that, but you need to normalize and reset it, not speed it up. You need to get that inflammation under control. So that's the first thing. They're all low-calorie diets, which don't work. Short-term thing that actually is very unhealthy. The other thing is they're all a one-size-fits-all approach. So if 20,000 people go on Jenny Craig or Weight Watchers, they all get the same instructions. It may work a little bit short-term for some, but not for everybody. So everybody has a different story. Everybody has different reasons why they have toxemia and inflammation, and we got to look at those. That's why we need to do blood tests and see what's going on, so we can customize and individualize the program towards our clients. And then there needs to be objectivity. Like I said, we need to do the blood test, we need to do measurements, but do we really want to lose water weight? Do we really want to lose muscle weight? No, we want to lose toxic fat. So we need to objectively measure on what weight we're losing also, okay? So there's many key components to a healthy diet. And in this case, it's really to getting the inflammation under control, reducing with the diet the amount of toxins that we ingest and are exposed to, and increasing the amount of nutrients that are anti-inflammatory, that fight free radicals, and that are normalizing our metabolism. And once we become normal and healthy again, the fat cells will shred and reduce, and we will lose the weight, and the toxins that are released are just eliminated because there's no state of emergency, there's no toxemia anymore.
Nothing but good blood going on. And when I said that why did I say, yes, I will partner with you? Well, first of all, way back when, if you saw the story that you and your other colleague took me on this healthy journey to get to be, as I say, a cancer thriver, a melanoma thriver from that situation. I trust and respect you. I have a great deal of respect for your knowledge, but your practical knowledge. When you can talk about that, with this program, there's no starvation. You're right. It doesn't work. It has to be transformation. There's guidance and accountability with the app. The app that has been created here is second to none. Push, play, get out of the way. Great recipes. And yes, since we've been on this new partnership that we have, 3 weeks, I've been playing with the app. Love the recipes. I love to cook, but I like healthy. When I've said this before, easy, fast, effective, and simple. People have busy lives. You need to be simple. I mean, I came over here, hour and a half away. What did I do? So I'm a Green Goddess drink. I've got my Green Goddess drink there. I can do that for lunch. It works really well in there. The thing that I know is that when you can, as we say, boost that metabolism, it's like drinking. What happens to your body when you drink too much coffee? You get the jitters. That's what a lot of these products out there do for somebody. They last for a while. You've got tons of energy. You clean the house times 3. But then what happens? Look at your poor little adrenal. He just shrivels up in the corner. And expand, Dr. Mike, why are keeping your adrenal glands healthy. Why is that so important?
Well, to go back to the coffee and the caffeine and all these stimulants they give during weight loss programs, they're not stimulants, they're depressants. Okay, they're called stimulants. Coffee is called a stimulant. Red Bull, Monsters, and and caffeine and all the other energy boosters, they're called stimulants, but they're not. They're actually depressants. They're called stimulants because they have this very short-term effect, immediate effect of jolting and giving you energy, right? But it's not giving you energy. It's spending your energy. And that's why you feel good for a few minutes. It's spending energy. But how do you feel right after?
Correct.
Fatigued and depressed, because they are all depressants, because they spend energy. And so afterwards, you don't have energy. It actually took energy from you, okay? And there's only one solution then, is to drink more coffee and to have another Red Bull or take more caffeine. You know, it's just like any other addiction. The only solution is to do it again. If not, you have to go to withdrawals and really get healthy. So again, it's another good point you brought up. We don't have those, stimulants in the program because you will basically crash afterwards. But to that point, we do use in our program things like vitamin B12 and other B vitamins and vitamin C and things like that. We don't want to boost our metabolism, but many times, especially when we talk about our overweight people, our metabolism is slow and sluggish. So we need to bring it up to normal by reducing inflammation and by speeding it up. Not speeding it up as getting a high, but getting it normalizing and resetting it. And so besides using a few nutrients that we have as part of our program, such as B12, we will use what we call a ketogenic diet, and everybody's familiar with this. And there's different types and different ways of achieving the same thing. But we want to reset the metabolism, basically not by speeding it up, but by changing our fuel source for energy from carbohydrates to fats. In our program, fats can come from plants and they can come from animals. Okay. Mm-hmm. I don't believe that animal protein or animal fats or any meats are healthy for the human body. I have a book coming out probably in the just after July the 4th called Protein Paradox. It will really go into details why we're not meat eaters. It's not my opinion. It's pure biology and physiology. And we will go into, why the proteins from plants are much more effective from a health point of view, but also from an athletic performance point of view than those from meats. Meats are just a burden to our digestive system, and they are very unhealthy and carcinogenic. Even processed meats are listed on the WHO website, World Health Organization website, amongst asbestos, arsenic, and tobacco as a class 1 carcinogen. So I could go on about that for a long time. Woo! But our ketogenic program obviously focuses on the healthy fats and burning those. Jody, you want to add something to that?
I think what I wanted to add is just one thing, because I am probably one of the last that came on board with the ketogenic diet for this reason, because it must be plant-based. Once again, wheat, milk, and soy make yeast, mold, and fungus. And I really believe that your digestion was made to take things in and have it eliminated. When I'm putting in something dead, how is that going to work for somebody who's alive? And this way, ketogenic to me means keeping your body alkaline, for the standpoint, as you well know, that I even, for my clients that love their coffee, I have a great coffee that will keep you alkaline. Guess what the difference is? You don't get the spike. None of the insulin spike, none of the crash. And what I've seen in the short time that I have worked with you with this diet, you talk about the metabolism. You think about insulin spikes. Oh, they've just got hypoglycemia, that insulin spike. Look at your foods. See, I can spit on that one. Look at your foods. All right. Then you have your high, your hypertension. When your metabolism, what happens to hypertension? When your metabolism is normal,
sympathetic nervous system.
What happens to your both of your cholesterol, the HDL and the LDL? What happens with that? it is just eliminated.
No, I believe in the ketogenic diet, fat as a fuel. I would suggest even Dr. McCullough's book, Fat for Fuel. It's an excellent book that explains it very well. But I'm a firm believer that the fat needs to come from avocados and beans and vegetables, etc., and not from animal products for sure. And we can, because guess what? Guess what? We've been talking about inflammation. If we're going to try to become ketogenic on an animal protein or animal or meat, we are increasing acidity and we are increasing inflammation. Yes. We want to reduce that inflammation, okay? And we want to use healthy fat fuels. And so we can do that very healthy. And so the program that we have reduces inflammation, increases nutrients that are anti-inflammatory and contain a lot of antioxidants, and reset your metabolism in a ketogenic way. And so when you get to this program, and our program is how long?
It is a big 63 days.
63
average
days.
40 pounds lost.
Yeah, an average of 40 pounds lost. And it's lasting results because we are changing, we're resetting your metabolism. So when you just continue to implement the healthy adaptations, the healthy modifications that you learned, you're never going to regain the weight. The reason why we do blood tests before and after is obviously we want to know what's going on, but it's also to prove to the client, right, that your CRP, C-reactive protein, which is an indicator of systemic inflammation, we measure it before and then we measure it after the 63 days. And guess what? It goes down. Your systemic inflammation goes down, which means what? Less toxins, less toxemia, no risks for any disease, including cancer, obesity, and everything else you can think of. So we want to see that if your sugar is high now, we also will include your A1C, and you will see that your sugar levels, because of less acidity, etc., will drop drastically during this program. So we have to call it a weight loss program, otherwise people don't know what it's about. But really what it is a healthy transformation into a better you, and part of that is shedding those pounds that are filled with toxic waste, and that's all it is. The reason why I like this program too, Jody, and you mentioned it, because it's easy to follow. There's a simple app that tells you every day, what to do, what to take. And then when it tells you to have a certain amounts of food and this and that type, it gives you ideas of what meal plans, right? So you don't have to try to figure everything else. You don't have to count calories. You don't have to do this. It's a very easy to follow program with great results. And people love it because they feel better pretty fast and they don't have to starve and they feel better. And once you feel better, you're going to continue to do what made you feel better. And therefore, the success rate when it comes to long-lasting results is right up there.
Absolutely. Because as I said during my beginning remarks, when you feel better, I'm going to pick up with this, you have more energy, then you become with more vitality. And then guess what? You have more longevity. I can truthfully say with the short-term supplements that you use with the program, one of them is your B-Lean, which does exactly that. Very, very effective product. It will suppress your appetite. I've seen this with my clients already. It will, we used it way back in the day before Bob Bear and I got married, and before I went with my journey on direct sales. That I saw that people would take that their appetite was suppressed. The other thing that I've seen, just as using myself as an example, I was noticing, and I think it was everything with COVID and whatever, I was feeling that insulin just let down once I would eat. And I'm going, this is not good, because you need to listen to your body talk. Olivia Newton-John was not just talking about a song. She was talking about a lifestyle. Listen to your body talk. What I've seen by following this program, because I wanted to get my own experience with this, that I don't have that crash at the end of a meal now, because there is a toxic waste dumping even on Miss Health Coach Jody. I've also seen that there's not that insulin spike, which I want to just mention, because people usually will come to me, I do really, really well until mid-afternoon. I could eat the sleeve off of my garment.
Yeah.
What do I do? That's because the supplementation with these drops happen every 7 hours. You do it first thing in the morning, 2 o'clock, put it in your phone, and then at bedtime. That will take you over that I'm going to eat the sleeve off of your garment kind of thing. And what I've also noticed, a few of my really good clients, that they've seen that they sleep better. What happens when you sleep better? You get into REM sleep. You don't get that cortisol dump in your system. So,
Sure.
so it's a great circle with that as well.
And you're right on when you mention all those things, because it's about, again, getting back to normal and get the systems functioning right. And so we use these nutrients in the beginning and these drops and this one supplement to overcome the difficulties when we're talking about detoxifying and talking about resetting metabolism. Because again, what we're trying to do here is, most people, when we eat our bad foods, when we eat a burger, when we eat a pizza, an hour or two later, we're hungry again. Why is that? Because we ate this whole pizza and yet we're hungry again. Because we digested all that, and your body's going to say, I didn't get anything I needed. I didn't get vitamin C. I didn't get my omega-3s. I didn't get anything that I asked for. So I'm going to send out another hunger signal, because I need you to eat, because I need the vitamin C. I need the B vitamins. I need the adaptogens. I need this and I need that. And so you keep eating this crap and you're always hungry. That's why you gain weight. But once you're starting to get rid of a lot of that man-made foods that it's loaded with toxins and colorings and flavorings and all the bad foods, the GMOs and the corn syrups, and the list goes on and on and on. Once we start avoiding those and implement modern whole foods and natural foods with the vitamins and the minerals and everything that the body needs, guess what? You eat that and suddenly it's got to become a habit. You don't feel that hunger 2 hours later, because your body got what it needed. That's why we juice. Your body got what it needed, and it's fine for a long time. You're not going to get that hunger signal. So automatically, you are going to eat a lot less because you're eating the right things. But unfortunately, that takes a week or two at least for your body to reset. And so during those first few weeks, you're going to struggle, because most people cannot distinguish between hunger and appetite, right? Many times when you're on these healthy foods, you're really not hungry, but you see food or you smell food and you want it. So it's really a struggle in the beginning when we go to this, like you call it so well, transformation. And that's why we have a coach 24/7 for you. And that's why we have some supplements to really overcome that. And once you're getting into this and it becomes a habit to eat healthy, you will see you won't be hungry. I only eat once a day and I juice and I'm never hungry. You know?
Absolutely.
And it just becomes a habit, and our digestive system's not overburdened, and everything just falls in place and you become a healthy person, and you'll never have that extra weight again, okay? Because everything's working perfectly fine.
With whole foods, I want to come in with this. I'm going to give our listeners a tip. Go to the grocery store. Where do I begin? Keep around the perimeter, because the sooner you get in, past the toilet paper right now, but the sooner you can get in to whatever's in the middle of that grocery store, you're going to have toxins, you're going to have processed foods, the ones that I talked about with the chemical foam. This is a whole foods, organic, clean eating program. When you're talking about eating once a day, this program, which I've done forever, I believe, as they call it, cycling, keeping your body guessing. How does your body guess at the first? You load up on a boatload of calories. It's like
the first part of this program, everybody passes the first 2-3 days because it's loading, eating all the crap you can. And it's a loading phase to make the next phase much more effective. So everybody passes the first 3 days for sure.
4,000 to 5,000 calories. But then what I noticed doing this, just as an example of going, okay, I'm lethargic. That lasted for a while, but it had a way of then pushing the toxins out. By day 4, it was amazing, because no matter who you are, having that sugar index in your body is not good. The older you get, you will have less insulin resistance. I think having that weight management program of continuing to trick your body. There's one day, which is Wednesday, when you start this. Wednesday, you eat once a day. My clients have said it's not a big deal, because you do over half your body weight, 100 ounces of water. That's a lot of water. Why? Because you want to flush it out. Just get ready. The first part of it, you're going to be close to your restroom for quite some time, because that's just part of it. But let me ask our audience here, when you're thinking, oh, there's so much out there, I've got to research this and do that and whatever. I've just got a question for you. Do you want to have, let's say you've got 60 pounds to lose. Do you want to lose a pound a week and maybe plateau and get discouraged. You want to take a year, you want to do it in 60 to 90 days. That's what we offer here. Quick, easy, effective, and simple, so that you have then a plan where we've designed a maintenance phase so that you can do this the rest of your life. And built into this, that Dr. Mike, I just wanted to let our audience know we have, and what I'm offering, when you let us know within the next 48 hours, we've got simple plans, plan A, B, and C, and we're offering 10% off on each one of these programs when you start today. Because if you stepped on your scale and it doesn't have a number, it just says OMG, it's time to get going. The best way to start is today, because then your tomorrow will be better.
No, that's excellent. Jody obviously is the coach. She's very passionate about what she does. I help put the weight loss program together. I'm the one who can explain why this works. I know it works. I want it to be a healthy program. Again, to me, it's not even a weight loss program. It's just transformation yourself into a healthy you. And as a side effect, you will lose those toxic fat cells, right? So that's the way I look at it. But Jody's going to be the coach. She runs the program. I don't have any time to do that. She also knows exactly, especially from experience, on when people plateau and they call us, she knows exactly, do we need to run another test? What can we do here to modify it to get through this? And our success rate is very, very high. Again, with an average of 40 pounds every approximately 60 days. If you need to lose 80 pounds, you just continue the program until you lose the weight. And then the maintenance is very easy because, again, you transformed. You just didn't starve yourself, or you just didn't try to compromise. No, you just made changes in your lifestyle, and now you feel much better. And there's no way you're going to go back to that bad lifestyle where you were sluggish and overweight and didn't feel confident about yourself, etc.
Your old lifestyle, you were unconscious, incompetent. You didn't even know that you didn't know. Mm-hmm. Now we teach you. You know, okay, I don't know this. I'm unconscious competent. When you come through the program, you will be conscious competent till then you can say high five. I can take somebody unconsciously competent through the same process. And your story will be my story in the book that will be coming out by Dr. Mike. And then you can teach that to others and create, no, it's not going to be 8 out of 10 people that are overweight. It's going to be 7 out of 10 people. We can start changing that demographic starting with you.
That's correct. And just to close again, it's a simple program. It doesn't take much time. Everything can be done over the phone, especially if you're not in this area. Jody will just get you started, get you the app, get you the back office. The back office has all the information. You can read as less or as much as you want. You don't need to understand it. You just can do it. If you want to know why it works, there's a back office. You get a login and an ID, and you can read everything about it. It explains day per day what you should be doing. Then there's an app. The app just reminds you every day what you need to do. So it's very easy. If you have questions and things don't work very well, you just call your coach, in this case, Jody, and she will get you over that little hump. Again, very easy to follow. You have all the resources available online and on the app. It's just a few simple supplements in the beginning. No meal replacements or anything like that either, just a few drops and a few capsules to really get you through those first difficult weeks. And from that moment on, it's just going to be flying high, feeling what energy is, feeling, again, not fatigued, and feeling the energy to do what you want to do and accomplish your task, being more focused, mental clarity. I can keep going on and on and on, but that's what's really about. Most importantly, I think, is reducing the risk profile for any disease. Yes. Once that inflammation and toxemia is gone, you will not get sick. It's that simple.
So it's Mike and me. Call Jody, 678-522-3757. Dr. Mike, you know that I've got to have a rhyme in there. It is my privilege and honor to work with you, somebody that not only knows where to go, but I've known you long enough that you want to take people there with you.
Sure, of course. That's what it's all about. And that's why we're doing these types of podcasts. It doesn't pay me or her at all, right? It's about educating people, showing them a different path, and choose health freedom. If you want to have a little summary of the key points of our program, you also can go to health4life.fit. health4life.fit. And on the bottom of that page, you also have Jodi's email that you can click and contact her to get healthy and transform yourself. Again, choose health freedom. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Dr. Mike. Appreciate it. You're so techno.